Hi Anna, Miss Philly, and the rest of the real women of Philadelphia. I'm Lori, and welcome back to my kitchen right here in Alberta. I would love to say sunny spring Alberta. It's spring, it's not sunny. And it is apparent today that our home has taken on a 2 bad days philosophy when it comes to weather. It can handle 2 days of rain, and the third, it all falls apart. So I've spent the whole day battling nature's forces in our basement today, as our basement took on so much water with this our 3rd day of rain. We flooded last summer, and we were determined not to flood again this year, but it looks like we're going again. So I've spent the entire day downstairs with my very hardworking family trying to fight off water with 3 shop vacs and a carpet shampooer to get as much water as we can out of our basement. So I'm tired and left with 2 choices. The 2 choices most women have. You can sit and cry about it, or you can get in the kitchen to make something delicious. So we're going with option number 2, and of course our something delicious is going to start our Philadelphia cream cheese. We're using our Philadelphia Light today to make up what I call Mama's Pizza. The reason why I call it Mama's Pizza is because we're making pizza tonight, homemade pizza, for the family. And I've got the children's pizza all ready to go. We've got your traditional ham and pineapple and your traditional pepperoni. But I personally am not the biggest fan of regular pizza, so I have created Mama's Pizza, which I'm sure you will find to be as delicious as I do, because it has a wonderful Philadelphia cream cheese sauce base. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is fry up 2 chicken breasts. So I've got them cut into little bite-sized pieces here, and I'm going to just saute them up in a nice hot skillet along with some chipotle seasoning. Now, you don't have to use chipotle seasoning, you can use any of your favorite seasonings, something to give it just a lot of flavor that's going to match well with our cream cheese sauce that we're going to put on our pizza and with our other cheesy flavors. So once this is all cooked up and it's not pink anymore, it's going to be ready to go, and I'm going to set it aside until we're ready to load it up on our pizza. Okay, I've still got chicken cooking up behind me here, but it occurred to me that this may be my fastest and shortest video yet for Entree Week, especially because with my basement out of commission, that puts my playroom and our family media room out of commission also. So before the natives get too restless and get in here into the kitchen, we're going to whip up Mama's Pizza as quick as we can. So the next thing we're going to do is work on our pizza sauce. I have in here 1 cup or 8 ounces of Philadelphia cream cheese, which I brought to room temperature into my food processor. I've broken it up just into little cubes to make it easier to process. Next, we're going to toss in 2 minced cloves of garlic. So 2 cloves of garlic in there, we're going to put in about a 1/4 cup of sour cream and a little bit of salt and pepper. Just salt and pepper to taste. I love fresh ground pepper, so we're going to throw in a fair bit of that. We're not going to use a whole lot of seasonings in our pizza sauce because the Philadelphia cream cheese is what's going to bring out all the flavors in the toppings and the flavors in the sauce that we're mixing up, so it doesn't need a whole lot of extra help. Next thing I'm going to throw in is about a 1/4 cup of Kraft grated Parmesan cheese, and that is all in here. We're going to smooth this and mix it all in together. Okay, with that all blended till it's nice and smooth there, I am just going to chop 2 green onions, just nice and finely, and I'm going to stir those right into our cream cheese base. Okay, with my 2 green onions diced and chopped up and tossed in there, I'm just going to give it a little mix with a spoon, and then that's ready to go. One ready to go pizza dough. So you can basically buy a pre-made pizza dough to save yourself a bit of time and a bit of effort, and then just lay it out on your pan. We're making about a 12-inch pizza here. You can see it's probably about a 14-inch pan. Almost everything in my kitchen is done big. So my pizza pan is no exception, but we're just going to make it a little bit smaller. Spread it out there. Little trick with homemade pizza is that when you grease your pan, also sprinkle on a little bit of cornmeal. Cornmeal gives your crust just a little bit of crunch, a little bit of added flavor, and makes it a little more pizzeria style. So with some cornmeal on my pan and my non-stick spray on the pan also, I've got my dough ready to go. And then I am going to mound up this cream cheese pizza sauce directly onto the dough. Now my oven is set preheating at 400 degrees, and that is what works well for the dough that I'm using. Some dough might recommend, some pre-made dough might recommend maybe a slightly lower temperature, so you might want to watch that on the package directions if you're using a pre-made dough. But generally speaking, when you're whipping up a homemade pizza, 400 degrees works just perfectly. Next step is to put the rest of our toppings on and assemble our pizza. So I have got some washed and ready to go spinach here, which I'm just going to tear up and throw onto the pizza. You can certainly chop it or use chopped spinach. If you're using frozen spinach, you definitely want to make sure it's fully drained and squeezed out of all that moisture beforehand, but fresh spinach is just perfect on this pizza. So I'm just going to rip it up into little itsy bitsy bits and some different size ones and just layer that right over my cream cheese pizza sauce. So I'm going to use probably about a cup of chopped spinach, maybe a cup and a half. Okay, with our spinach on there, next up is our chicken. So I've got my cooked chicken breast that I did sauteed up already there with the seasoning salt. And I'm going to just put those all on, loaded up with chicken. Next, we're going to top it with some sliced mushrooms, just fresh mushrooms, sliced up nice and thin. About 3/4 of a cup of sliced mushrooms going on to Mama's pizza. Okay, after your mushrooms are on, next we've got some crumbled bacon. I've just got some purchased bacon. I didn't cook this up and do it, but I find that there's a few great varieties out there of just crumbled bacon to keep in your refrigerator. It gives you some fresh bacon flavor all the time. I'm sure that you can probably hear my littlest Lucas in the background. He is dying to have some of his pizza. He will not be getting any of Mama's pizza. Okay, next up is going to be our Kraft Italiano cheese. This is the most delicious cheese to put on top of such a perfect pizza, because it's a perfect blend of grated cheeses to go right on top of your Philadelphia cream cheese pizza. And the flavors in all of the cheeses are brought out so much more by the cream cheese. I really enjoy just the convenience of using the shredded cheese. So we've got about a cup of grated Italiano cheese on here. Don't scrimp on the cheese. Even though it's not a traditional pizza, it is still made better with loads of cheese. Okay, so after that, we're ready to go into the oven. So I'm going to pop this into the oven. It's going to take about 20 minutes, but what I'm watching for and keeping an eye on it in the oven is to watch that my outside crust becomes golden brown and the center of my cheese starts to bubble and starts to become golden brown also. Okay, after 20 minutes, we'll pull it out of the oven. The Italiano cheese is melted on there perfectly. I can see our cream cheese base is looking delicious. And our crust, which apparently is a double rise crust, is all nice and golden brown. Now the finishing steps here are some chopped fresh tomatoes. You need about half a cup, or just one medium-sized tomato is good. Just sprinkle those around and then top your Mama's pizza with some fresh ground pepper, just like so. And you are set for serving and for devouring. We're going to slice this up into some pieces because even Mom shares her Mama's pizza. I'm not going to eat the whole thing myself. So let's take a look at it here. I'm going to slice it up into some pieces and then I'll meet you back here and we'll see what it tastes like. After a hard day's work, we're ready for the best part, tasting our Mama's pizza. Let's take a big bite. The cream cheese base with the flavored chicken and the spinach, amazing. Well, I'm about to devour the rest of my pizza. But thank you for coming by so I could share my recipe for Mama's Pizza with you. And if anyone's looking for a little bit of extra rain in their neck of the woods, I'd be more than happy to share that with you also. So until next time, keep cooking with cream cheese and I'll see you back here again.